by the way.
All right.
Right in tune. Almost.
It's so funny how delayed it is.
All right, Tyler's here. Inviting Tyler. Yeah, turn that volume on your phone all the way down.
All the way.
Yep. Otherwise, we're going to hear an echo, and it's going to get really annoying. All right.
How's that?
I think we're good.
Perfect. Win-win. Look at that.
So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's episode 10 of the Open Heart Collective. I'm your guest. Rewind that. I'm your host. I'm Phillip Ryan Block. My guest today, none other than Tyler Marschall. Tyler, introduce yourself to the people.
How is everybody doing? My name's Tyler Marschall from good old upstate New York. I just finished up my last semester of college, so that's pretty exciting for me. Getting ready to go to graduation tomorrow, and it's life from here.
So, for those of you guys who have never caught one of these broadcasts before, this broadcast is simultaneously being broadcast on Facebook and on Instagram stories. The reason why we do it live on both is because, one, we capture a different market than we do when we're on Facebook and Instagram. So these conversations are all about mental health awareness, because in this culture that we live in right now, we're in this mindset of gotta hustle all the time, gotta be on the offense, gotta be proactive, that like all that stuff, that all the rhetoric that we hear people like Gary Vaynerchuk preaching. The one thing that we are not on the offensive about is our own mental health. So I hosted this video series, or this content series, to where we can get in-depth conversations with entrepreneurs, with musicians, with just general human beings around their life story. So that being said, Tyler, give us your story.
So I do have quite the story. Back in actually let's start off here. 2004, I was diagnosed with leukemia. So major hit for not really me because I was so young, but definitely the family. Family had a lot to deal with then. Both parents, in work. Son gets sick. Like, first of all, I got to take time off from work. I had a brother. It all kind of happened so quick. Like it was an overnight thing. Like I wasn't feeling too good, and all of a sudden my parents got a call early in the morning, like 4 a.m. And my brother, he had to be 6 years old, so he ends up waking up at his grandma's house the next morning, and like I'm so young. It's kind of like I was 8 years old at the time, 7 years old. It's kind of a blur to me, but like I do remember some stuff because of how just a shitty situation it was. But that's why I'm grateful to be here. One life. I'm preaching it. I know Gary's always preaching that, but it's definitely something I can relate to. So.
Oh, there's usually a pillow in the background. There we go. One life right over there. I always get this messed up. It's like you guys, anyways. I'm actually going to do a story about those. But man, that's incredible. Haven't been able to get you. Like that had to be intense to deal with. Not necessarily for you, but for your family to deal with. Because, I lost my grandmother to cancer when I was 16. She fought it for 2 decades.
Yeah, it's scary shit. Scary stuff.
And we've got a guest coming on the show next week who is a 5-time cancer survivor.
Look at that. That's just...
It's just
that's
like...
not even funny to think about. That's not even fun to think about 5 times. Like, I was in the hospital for 116 days, and like I was young, like I said, but like I do remember some stuff, and it was definitely such a shitty situation to be in, especially for the parents. Like, just think about not being able to go to work every day. Like they would kind of switch on and off. So like my mom would come stay with me one day, dad go to work, opposites like throughout the week, and they made it work, but not a fun situation. Like I had to go outside of the hospital to see my dog every once in a while, and just stuff you don't want to live through. That's for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't hear you on Facebook. I can hear you good on Insta.
Again,
There we go. I can
on
hear you.
Facebook. All right. So Facebook, sorry about that little tech glitch. The joys of doing these live broadcasts, something always goes wrong. But it's
That
also
means
makes
it's
what makes
human.
us human, right?
Exactly.
The chance to interact and engage. Was dipped out, but now I'm back, apparently. So seeing as this show is around mental health, give me a little bit of an insight into how what you've gone through has affected your mindset and your own internal mental health. Because I see you on Insta right now, you're doing a bunch of stuff around like physical health, right?
Yeah,
But
I've been
like, tell me a
definitely on
little
the
bit about that
physical
space.
path. Definitely, like I got into fitness and working out like big time in I want to say last summer. Like I just started working out and stuff, but I always, in high school played sports, played soccer in high school, and couldn't say I was the best kid in high school. I'll be honest there. Like I obviously you're hanging out with the wrong crowds, and I'm not gonna say I don't hang out with some of the kids still, but we did some stupid shit, and I definitely regret that. But you learn from your mistakes.
Right.
So definitely staying home. I went to community college my first year of college, and that was probably the best thing I've ever decided to do because I planned on going across the country to California, a little school in Lake Tahoe. That's actually where my brother's going now and playing lacrosse. And
Nice.
funny story on that, I in my senior year of high school, we went and looked at the school, and he ended up talking to the lacrosse coach when I was sitting down with the admissions office, and he's like, he was playing lacrosse in high school, and he definitely was easily able to get an academic scholarship as well as a sports scholarship. So I was like, you know what, dude, you go out there, you play your lacrosse, and I got a visiting spot, and I'll be able to save money and go to community college. So staying home from community college, like I said, best decision I've made because I had a lot of time by myself. Like I was here, I'm in my office right now, and mama's house in my room. But this was my office. I got my little desk here, and I mean I spent a lot of time here, and I had a lot of time to think, a lot of time to learn. Dove into a ton of YouTube videos. Dove into just like I was the one kid in high school making fun of kids reading books and just things like that I started doing. I started listening, reading to books, and life changing. Like as soon as I figured out myself, I think that was the biggest thing. Working on myself, figured out mind over matter. Like I really took into consideration, like, all right, what after I started, like I got a newspaper down here of like what my family had to go through when I was in like it was an article that came out a year after I got out of the hospital, and like just reading that, just like at the age I am now, I'm able to understand it a lot better. I'm 21.
Fucking young kids, man.
But yeah, just
I always gotta give you young guns some shit because like us old guys, we've been around a while, but yeah. So I gotta bust your chops from time to time.
Yeah, but still, it's like you get the wake up call, like I would say I definitely got the mindset figured out at 19. Like I knew what to do. I was like I wanted to hop on social. I wanted to do all that stuff. And I was scared to do it. I was scared what people were going to say. I was scared. I was just scared to be myself on social. And biggest step I made, I remember the date, November 2017, made my first post, hopped out of the comfort zone. And ever since then, snowball's been rolling. Like best thing I've ever done. Life changing for me.
I love how we have these comments that hold on one second. No, you're done. No. Find something else to do. And you're interrupting. You're done. And you're interrupting me. You're done. You're done, Olivia. So, dad life, right? So, in the middle of doing a live broadcast, daughter comes downstairs and interrupts the live broadcast. That's fun.
No problem.
Anyways, so
it'll be a good cut in the podcast. No problem.
You know what? No, I don't cut anything.
No, that's what I'm saying. A good little pause for people to giggle at.
Right. Dad life. That completely threw me off track. I forgot where I was now. So let's just keep going. I like some of these interactions that we're getting over here on Instagram. Cam says people like Tyler give me hope in my generation. Oddly enough, both of you guys, like, I'm still technically considered a millennial.
You're 30-something, right?
I was born in 83. So I'm still I'm on the outer edge of it, but I'm still technically a millennial. Which is weird because I'm not one. But I adapted tech early. Like, one of the things that, because I've been in the social space for over a decade now in varying capacities. Like, some of the other work that I had done was in the investment world, so like suit and tie, fancy stuff. And I was one of the big incubators for social in that space when it wasn't really done before, because the financial world is very strict, very stringent. Like, you can't do this, like FINRA comes and knocks down your door. But it's really interesting now in the day and age we are, because I think, and you can attest to this, it plagues our mental health a lot, right? Because we value so much of ourselves on the reaction of others.
Exactly.
That it's like we put too much stock in the bullshit, man. Like, I think that's a big thing plaguing millennials and plaguing mental health as a whole. Like, we care too much about what everybody in these spaces think. And
exactly. That was my biggest problem, letting that hold me back from doing what I wanted to do. Who gives a shit what people think? That's like, as soon as I got over that hurdle, it was game over. Like I said, snowball's been rolling, opportunity after opportunity. Once you take that step, do something you're scared to do, keep double down on it, keep going. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how it works.
And then, like, I see your biz partners watching us on Insta. By the way, hi, Karen.
What's up, Karen?
But it's one of those, she commented, tech is a double-edged sword. I really think it is, especially considering its effect on people, right? Going back to what we were just talking about, if you let it affect you, it will. But if you allow it to be your platform, your place where you can allow your voice to be heard, then you have the strength. And mental health manifests in a lot of different ways, especially in the millennial culture, especially with the entrepreneurial ecosystem. I'm sure with you as a survivor, that's got to get your mind in a different way. So let's talk about, like, mindfulness and how mindfulness has adapted itself into your mental health.
As far as it being in social, or
just general mindfulness, like and being a human being.
It's just a lot. Yeah, it is a super deep question, and it's one to think about too, because a lot, like I said, a lot has happened since then, and it's just, you have every single day. Like, I just started to be grateful every single day that I'm alive, and just, I was listening to you and Roland talk a lot about on that podcast of what the millennials are doing and what he's done in his past, making his journey. And he, as soon as he took that leap and started doing what he loved to do, he figured it out. Like, he was like, all right, I know the name of the game. Now I'm just going to keep pumping and doing my thing. Like, he doesn't care what people say. And he's making his way. Like, I'm just watching him grow, and it's just amazing to watch. And that's why I don't know. Like, I do have a ton of people that I haven't met a lot of them in real life, but just, I always tell my mom, I'm like, Mom, I don't want your opinion. Just give me your love and support. Like, I do not want your opinion. I know you have the opposite mindset, the opposite everything that you want me to be doing, but just please give me love and support and I'll be fine. Like that's how it's going to work out. And that's how it's been working. Like,
so do you come from a family of entrepreneurs or do you come from a family of traditional like 9-to-5ers?
I do have a few family members that are entrepreneurial type, but they do still work for companies. So I would definitely say I come from a family of 9-to-5ers. I guess you could say some cousins do own their own businesses, but I'm not gonna say they're the best businesses. I don't know, like just my mindset, my entrepreneurial mindset, me thinking in ways that like, I don't know, growing up through high school, I was just always selling stuff on eBay, anything I could. Like Christmas was my favorite time of year because I would get so many gifts and just flip them on eBay. That's just 100% profit.
Right.
Dirty to say, but like that's how it went. And I don't know, they just don't think like that. They're just opposite thinking, 9-to-5. I have a lot of people right now, every time I go to a family event, every time I sit down with a family member, all right, where are you working after school? where are you getting the job? And taking on the business full time. I do not want to work for somebody. I know I'm not going to. I know I can be a good employee, but I know that's not the path I want to take. And I've talked to a lot of people that had the opposite opinion, and they say, now's the time to do it. Now's the time to travel. Now's the time to go after your goals and see what happens. And like Gary always says, you can 10 years go by, turn 30, and guess what? You always go get that job. Always go get that job. And that's, I'm preaching that because that's what I get so much shit for. Yeah, I went to college for my parents because I was going to stop after community college. They're like, yeah, I'll pay for the car, pay for the house, pay for food and stuff like that. And now my parents are divorced, so I'm just living with my mom. And like I said, this has been my office right here. Right. So it's free living. Might as well take it while I can, you know.
You hit on a couple of interesting points there that kind of that relate to our discussion right now. So the young generation that wants to do something that their parents don't want to do, so don't want them to do. So happiness is probably the biggest piece of the mental health puzzle, right? If you're truly happy, everything else can fall into line, right? But happiness is so subjective. Just like success is subjective. So what are the things that make you happy, right? Like, let's talk happiness for a minute, because I think that's something we as a general human populace don't talk about, is the shit that makes us happy.
Yeah, seriously. And there is so much negativity going on. And I realize that the people that are negative are following, like they think, there's a lot of kids preaching the positivity stuff on the same kind of thing, and it's like, all right, just another kid doing that. It's like, at least there's preaching positivity and not negative bullshit that everybody else is preaching. So why don't you hop on the trend and more people doing it, the more people are going to stay happy, you know? And I think the biggest way that I stay happy is keep positive podcasts like yours, and in my ears at 24/7, positive. Anything. Just if I've unfollowed so much shit on social media that has allowed me to just be in a place where every time I hop on there, it's all positive stuff, all positive quotes, not even just quotes. It's people hopping on their camera and saying just positive things throughout the day. No negative bullshit in my life anymore. And that's where it's like, obviously here and there, you're going to get some negative people trying to throw you down. But I think that's what even sets, like, I got to a point where any negativity is going to spew back out into just a positive boost. So,
and I don't think, because there's positivity and then there's negativity, and then there's the people trying to adapt themselves in between, right? Yeah. Like, and all of this circles back to getting our mind right. So if our mind is right, everything else can fall in line. So like when I'm talking about happiness, when we're talking about doing what we love to do, when we're talking about creating an impact and having these real honest discussions, like, I'm a suicide survivor. Multiple times suicide survivor.
Yeah, you know what? I want to touch on what you said in that. I don't know if it was 7 or 8, but you were talking about how your first name's Ryan and then you started calling yourself Phillip because that's a new person. Like that's a new you, and you made the change, and you wanna start off as Phillip. Like
I really truly wish all of you guys could know Phillip, because then that would give you perspective into my world, and it's not perspective that I show very often, because for me that's the dark place. And I think one of the things that I've adapted to over the years is my ability to compartmentalize, which allows me to have these kinds of conversations, because this has been a relatively lighthearted conversation so far. I'm about to go heavy here in a couple minutes, but like, it's been a relatively lighthearted conversation, but several others of these haven't been. Like this conversation, this subject matter around mental health and all of its ancillary topics that are attached to it are not easy conversations. So being uniquely formatted the way that I am to be able to handle this stuff, like not everybody can handle this, which is honestly why I don't think we're having these conversations enough. Like the only way we talk about mental health is after something happens, right? I'm going to hit on a couple of things here. Like we talk about suicide after the loss of Chester Bennington, or after the loss of Chris Cornell, or after a school shooting, or after some tragic event, we talk about it. But that's the problem. We're being reactive. So let's start being proactive. What are some of those areas that you yourself have struggled with in your 21 years of existence that maybe you wouldn't talk about normally because it's like nobody's ever asking you?
So being down and like just being in the dark place, and like
what's that dark place? What is that dark place for you?
Through high school, just hanging out with not even the wrong crowd. Just I'm from such a small town. The only way to have fun around here is party, smoke, and drink. And the whole drinking and smoking thing,
welcome
like that's
to middle America, anywhere in this fucking country. By the way, to you guys who are watching and engaging on Instagram, I massively appreciate you. Facebook, you're kind of quiet, but that's okay, because this video will live on forever in Facebook and will die off on Instagram in about 24 hours. So,
but yeah, just the high school thing, like that was the dark place. I was always party every weekend and smoke till your lungs blow out. Like you're just doing stupid shit that I look back on now. It's like, all right, like I survived fucking leukemia and I'm sitting here smoking my lungs away like an idiot. Like, what am I doing? Why am I even, like, it's just wasting time. Then you're whipping the time by and all of a sudden it's a wake up call. It's like, all right, like now wake up and realize what the fuck's going on in your life and make the change, you know?
Right.
So like I said, staying home from school was the best thing I ever did, because of the fact that I took myself away from all that partying, all that I know some buddies that went away to school and they're partying Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and then all of a sudden they come home and they're like, yeah, I failed 2 classes, or I gained all this weight. It's like, dude, like you should have stayed home. Like it's just stuff like that made me wake up. And then, like I said, that was first year of community college, and I transferred to a 4-year school. After that, it was learning process from there. Like I just started, all right, let me figure myself out. Let me figure out my passion first. And then I could start making the stepping stone. And I've talked to so many adults, not even 30-year-olds.
Hey, now, watch it.
No, 30-year-olds, 25-year-olds, anyone older than me that is like, wow, I wish like you have a mindset that I just figured out, or I just found out how to achieve at the age of 35, 40 years old. And no, I'm blessed for that. I'm blessed that I took the time to figure myself out. And that was the biggest step that I think that it changed my life. It definitely changed my life. So still being impressed.
All the comments coming on Instagram are cracking me up right now. So, I mean, so high school is a dark place because of environment, right?
Environment, definitely environment.
That environmental impact is like, I'm from Rockford, Illinois. For those of you guys who don't know where that is, it like put a pin in Northern Illinois, and pretty much that's where I'm from. Like, I mean, big city, but surrounded by rural communities. So it's like, I get the small town nonsense, like, because I grew up in a decade where like, oh, hey, there's nothing to do. But there really truly was stuff to do. It's just we were too fucking lazy to go out and do anything worthwhile. Yeah. So it was, now, like, I commend you for saying that. Like, like these young hustlers that are out there doing this thing, like really wanting to double down on what they're passionate about because they got to experience it from us older cats who were like, I fucking hate working for someone else, or why would I go and do that? Like, there are these things that happen that I'm glad you guys are learning from. Like my guy Carter over here, who's off camera, like that's one of the things I think that's one of the things he's most picking up from me is like, you got to go all in on what you love. And honestly, right now, this conversation, these conversations next to my businesses, this is my thing. Like,
Yeah.
if you guys notice, like I've slowed down on the vlog and vlogging as a whole because like this conversation and this dynamic around mental health is so much more valuable and important to me because this means more to me than me sitting and recording something on my own, not talking to another human being. Like, this is one of those things too, and I want to convey this. This is about a little over midway point. If you are one of those individuals who are struggling and you're watching or listening to this, whether it's live now or after the fact when it's on the podcast or on YouTube, and you're struggling, please do not hesitate to reach out to me or Tyler or any of the other guests that have been on the show. Like, this is and I cannot convey this enough, this is a safe place. Like, and any negative bullshit I will squash because this is a place where I want to foster like a community around let's get our minds right, because when we can get our minds right, everything else aligns. Because this is the thing, right? You wake up and you're like, oh man, it's like a really shitty day. And then guess what happens? It's a really shitty day, right? Like you wake up feeling sad and then the sadness perpetuates or that ill feeling perpetuates rather than say, it's going to be a good day. I've got bullshit to face, like negative stuff that I don't want to deal with. But guess what? You have to deal with it because of what needs to be done. And it's the mind up here. When you get that right, no amount of bullshit can take it away.
And I think people, and I think they're doing that because first thing in the morning, you know exactly what they're doing. They're hopping on Facebook, Instagram, and every social media.
Yeah,
right. Through all that negative bullshit that they're following. And like I said, I went through and literally cleared out so much negative people, just different things that I was following that it was just all negativity. How could I get myself out of that zone? Start following positive people, start changing the mindset of what I'm diving into on social. It's going to change my own mindset. And like I said, the audio, everything. I hate reading, so I listen to a ton of audiobooks.
Let's switch this up a little bit, right? So we're in this safe space where we're promoting positivity, the mind right, and all that other stuff, right? So one of the things that I want to remove from all dialogue in all of these conversations ever, this is a word I don't even allow my own kids to use. We've got to strike hate from our vocabulary. Like, we could dislike something, sure, that's okay. Like, that's being human. You're not going to like everything 100% of the time. But the word hate breeds so much negativity. And I hold it in the same regard as the word maybe. I don't like either of those words because they breed this, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Pragmatic, like, oh, hey, like.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So, like, strike maybe from your vocabulary and watch your world change. Like, say you dislike something, sure, say I despise it, that's fine. But, like, don't say hate because that's the worst word in the world, man. Like, hate breeds everything else. That leads to war, that leads to conflict, that leads to death, that leads to, that leads to so much. Mm-hmm. And I think we don't talk about that enough.
That makes me think of stuff that happened in high school, kids saying they hate, like, I hate you, I hate this, and kids end up killing themselves over stupid bullshit, like stupid stuff. So
I'm quite a bit older than you. I'm 34. I'm going to be 35 in October. One of the things that I did, so my 10-year high school reunion was in 2012. God damn, that makes me feel old. But I went. I was the punk rock kid, right? Like, I was anti-establishment. I did good in school because, like, I was smart and I wanted to get the hell out of there as quickly as possible. So I was one of those little punk kids that was like, oh, hey, I'm going to skip school, not thinking that, oh, you're just going to have to stay longer to make up for the time that you skip, or else you're kind of screwed. But I went to my 10-year reunion for every single one of the people that I lost that couldn't be there, because so many people were bullied. So many people were negative. So many were just like, I lost a friend or a close person in school every year to suicide in high school.
Crazy.
At least one. And it's like, it gets to become tragic, but tragic can be this like its own set of vocabulary, and we just become used to it, right? Like, this is not something we should ever become used to. Like, this is tragic every single time it happens. And I'm sure everybody in this group that's listening, watching now or after in the future, like, has lost somebody because of this. Like, and there's so many different reasons, because so many of us have been stuck under this stigma where we cannot talk about how we feel, right? Let's change that. This is doing it, but like, I want to get louder. Like, I'm not going to go louder because I don't want to deafen you guys, but like, we need to, as a community, get louder. We need to understand that we are here for everyone else. Like, cool, if we succeed, we can lift people up underneath it. I'm actually going to start this whole, and I'm really like, nice to meet you guys too. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. So everybody who's bouncing in and out, I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your days to be a part of this, because honestly, to me, it means the world. Like, there's hours of stuff that you guys could be going through and doing, but you're choosing to spend time with us on a Friday, but it's hopefully beautiful in every part of the world, even though I know that's not the case. Like, you guys matter so much to me, and I want this to be that safe place that can be like talked about and like, let's go. So yeah, like, you guys probably saw earlier in the week, or I think I just posted it yesterday, 2 days ago, on Instagram, the video. The video I posted was a little short one about the word maybe. And literally the word maybe kills everything. So it was, Sylvia on Facebook had commented, definitely vocabulary can make a huge change in people's perception, action, and overall feeling. And I think that's really true, right? Because what we speak about is what we bring about, right? If you want to follow that old proverb. Like, so what you put out into the universe, you're going to get back. So if you're speaking positivity, you're speaking progress, you're speaking openness and community, that's what's going to come back to you. And that's the biggest thing that I've noticed just in the last 9, now 10 episodes of this, is it's coming back. Like, I'm getting stronger to the point where I can have these conversations more. I had to have a massively difficult conversation with one of my musicians earlier today, because it was a tough, like, something occurred that if it would have perpetuated and continued to occur, would have been bad for the entirety of the organization. So it's just like, guys, like, we are always got to put our best foot forward. And I know I've messed up more times than I can count, and I'm sure everybody here has. But like, this is the place, this is the time. Let's change it, because when everything else is crumbling, we need to be a pillar. We need to be a platform that people can continue to build and grow their own mindset about. So sorry, I'm stepping down off the high horse now. Sorry, I got kind of going there, and I realized that this is not the Ryan show. This is now the Tyler show. So that being said, I want your feedback on the 15-minute rant that I just did.
Well, I was going to add on to what you were saying about just reaching out. If you don't, that's the biggest thing. If you go, I started surrounding myself with, instead of negative people, positive people, and you're able to reach out with them and have a conversation and actually talk positive stuff and motivate each other, that's going to benefit you 10 times more. And a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people that are down and out and depressed are diving into social, not on just diving into the negative stuff, but then again, they're scared to go tell somebody, scared to go tell like a friend or a family member, because of the fact of, what are they going to think? They're most likely, like, they're just scared to make that leap and say something. And what's the outcome going to be? They don't want to find out the outcome. And guess what? You're never going to find that outcome if you don't try, or if you don't ask or say something. Like, that's the biggest deal. And how are you going to, like, for you, how is it possible to get everybody to listen to the podcast? How can you get that into more people's ears? Like, that's what needs to be done, but they're so in a terrible spot. They don't want this. This stuff is a joke to them. So,
and see, those of you guys, this is not a joke, right? This is so far removed from a joke. This is not, and for me personally, this is not an attention gimmick. This is real fucking life. And we have so many people who are broken, who like just don't know, right? Like they think they're alone. I know I've oftentimes felt that way. Like I've gone through a lot, but not nearly enough as much as some of these other people that I've gotten connected to. Like these stories are tragic, and this is every single day. Like this is why I've had a varying group of people on the show, because like there are certain cultures where you don't talk about this, right? Like the African American culture is one of those cultures where you don't talk about your mental health. Like this is not something that is like, so that's why I had Broderick on so early, because it was like, he got it, because you, as an African American male, you don't talk about it. Thankfully, I was blessed to grow up in a house where like everything was predicated on emotion. Like that made me who I am, because now I can have these conversations and I truly feel each and every one of you. Like what we're like, all of the guests that have been on this show, like I'm in, like their story is becoming part of my story. Their stories oftentimes changing my own narrative and how I look at my own life. And I'm sure, Tyler, you're getting the same thing. Like you probably watched and or listened to every single episode thus far. Like this is what this is about. Like let's connect and be real. Don't be fake. Don't have. I mean, one of the things that I'm going to challenge you to do, because I like pushing people past their comfort zones, because for me, my superpower is being so comfortable in the state of uncomfortableness. Like I am amazing there. I can handle it. I'm good. So we got another comment. Not everyone is willing to admit they need help and allow what you have to say into their lives. And this has put me into a situation in which I doubt my capacity to help and make a positive difference in their lives. I think, Tyler, I'm gonna let you take that. So you read the comment. Like, what's your take on that? I stumped Tyler.
I'm reading it right now.
Sorry, we had a comment come through the Facebook feed. So you guys need to like, not right now. Don't go over there right now, but inevitably go over there and watch that too.
Yeah, see, and I also see Cam commenting here on Instagram. It's just, it's, you do realize you have somebody to reach out to. You just need to find that person. You need to find that individual that's there to help you. And someone like yourself, someone like me, I've got so much BS to saying, yeah, you're just trying to create attention, trying to be somebody else, fake it till you make it, all this stuff. And it's like, all right, let's see what happens in 10 years and see if I'm still doing the same thing, you know? And that's just going to prove everybody wrong. And you keep busting on me because I'm so young, but I do have that mindset and I do have that realization, like, all right.
I bust on everybody.
I know. I'm just saying. But still,
like,
it's just like
my youngest brother is turning 21 a couple of days after me. I bust him just like I bust you. I bust Carter just like I bust you. Like, because I'm jealous, right?
Yeah.
Because I wish I would have had this mindset at 21 years old rather than 27, right? Those 6 years were huge for me. But I also know that the amount of experience that I've encountered in my life has made me who I am. So I don't regret anything. Like, and I think oftentimes when we're not reaching out to people, it's because we're scared of what they would perceive of us. Like, right. And I think our inability to show weakness is a curse.
Definitely agree with that, because like you said, if you don't. It's almost like if you don't go reach out, and I heard you talking about this on another podcast, how are you going to feel if you don't reach out to them and then they do go and commit suicide, or they do go do something stupid where you're going to feel like it was your fault? How are you going to get into that spot where it's like, all right, if I could have done this and that wouldn't have happened,
Survivor guilt.
Exactly. So how can you get into that situation where, and the thing you mentioned was, go ahead and just make that last comment to them and let them know, like, you don't want to put yourself, because that's going to get yourself in a bad spot. If you're sitting there putting yourself down the whole time, it's like, oh my gosh, this guy just killed himself because of me. Like, that was my fault. If I made that leap, I could have told him. How do you get yourself out of that,
I think it comes down to this. Put yourself in their shoes, right? Like, you cannot do everything, right? Like, and the show is not meant to be that space where it's like, where I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not, like, and if something were to come to me that's over and above, like, I would seriously recommend a professional. I'm just a human being who's encountered it more times than I'd like to admit in my own life, and then experiencing it vicariously through other people. That oftentimes those who are the quietest have the most to say. But also those are the types of people that are the most challenging to get to actually speak, because their fear of being judged is debilitating, right? Like, it is painful for them because they don't know anything else other than that. So they care so much about everybody else that they lose themselves. So they're the ones that are like, that get massively influenced by social media. They're the ones that are not sleeping at night because they get so wrapped up in the negative, because it's easier, right? It's easier to fall into negativity than it is to go and progress, because negativity has been this mindset for so long that, okay, I'm just depressed, right? Like, I'm just an oppressed person. Like, break this fucking stigma. The only way that we're going to do it is to fucking do it. There's no more talk. There's no more, I mean, there's a lot of talk, but it's action, right? I saw nobody taking action in this space, so let's go. I just did it. I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing when it comes to this, right? Like, what I'm doing, right?
Doing is better than not doing. And guess what? You're going to be able to learn from every mistake you made, and you're much older than me, so you know that all the mistakes you've made, they turn into a learning lesson. And I wanted to just touch on what you said there. A lot of, like, I do know some people that sit back and they act like everything's okay, and they're doing things like, yeah, it's normal life. Like, I just think, I know a couple that think they're better than everybody else. But then again, they're in the most shittiest spot of their life because of the fact that they're faking being happy. But it's just, it's hard to explain, because I'm not one of those people, but you're faking being happy in a way that, all right, I'm better than everybody else, but I'm putting myself in such a shitty situation because I go home every night and I can't sleep and I can't do things that I want to do because I'm so depressed, And it's hard to target those people down. How do you know if they're faking it? How do you know if they're really depressed? How do you know if they're really happy? Exactly. You have to. Exactly.
Like, and that's going back to the conversation that I referenced earlier that I had this morning with this artist of mine. He's an amazing talent, like, but he didn't behave right because he let alcohol get in the way. And like, I was going to walk away from the relationship entirely because of his behavior, because of how it makes my organization look and feel. And I can't have that, because, I mean, my organization is about as diverse as they come. Like, I'm the only token white guy on the board. Like, everybody else, because, like, that was intentional. Like, I don't want to be that pragmatic, stereotypical like organization. I want this to be a community, right? I want this to be diverse, because diversity is the spice of life, my friends. Like, it's the long and the short of it all, my everybody watching, like, somebody who's struggling, you yourself might be struggling. Like, talk to somebody. And if somebody turns you down, find somebody else to talk to. Be as on the offense with this as you would be in the pursuit of your passions, because there is no amount of hustle in the world that can make you happy or bring fun into your life. None.
Mm.
So all of you guys who are saying hustle 24/7, I'm calling your ass out. Because I guarantee you not every one of you is happy. I guarantee each and every one of you that you're not having fun. You're faking it. Stop. And there's a lot of people I'm calling out right now because they claim the hustle, but they hate their life. They dislike their life so much that they're like, why am I? They've lost their why. Find it again. Please. It will do you so much good, and it will do everybody else around you so much good. And that's what this is about. It's about us bringing together and creating a unified voice around, let's do it the right way. Let's not hold people down. Let's not be bullies. I mean, I encountered that. I'm not sure if you were one of the popular kids or one of the nerds. I was one of the nerds. I know, ridiculous. I'm going to do a before and like a flashback post next week with like photos of me when I was that age. And like, I got the amount of abuse that I was dealt and other people were dealt because of the fact that we were more intelligent or looked different was incredible. But it's weird because it's all so petty. Like, and we see it now in social all the time. Yeah. It's high school all over again. Let's grow the fuck up.
Yeah, and you just made a good point there. I like I said before, I was the one making fun of the kids reading books, and I guess you could call me the white prep in school. Like, I was fitting in with those kids and partying with those kids and hanging out with those kids.
I would have not liked you in high school.
Exactly. We would have not been getting along at all, and that's exactly what changed. That was just such a wake up call. I wish I could go. Like, I am going to go back and apologize to those if I ever run into them. That I do know I probably put some shit on their life for just trying to fit in and making fun of those kids. And
I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to call you out, and I'm going to challenge you right now. So we've got all these people. This is going to be broadcast. I'm going to say to the world, because any of you guys can watch it at any time or listen to it at any time. Like, I want you to issue a public apology. Like, no, like, don't necessarily message, like, don't call anybody out specifically. But I think it would do you a world of good, because I still see that, like, that's what's throttling you back. Like, even right now, as I look at your face, I see apprehension, right? Like, oh, like, all of a sudden your energy just went from like 100 to like 75. Because what I think it will do for you, and this is why I have done the vlog in the past, like, I record it, I get it out. Sometimes it doesn't make it into the final cut. Sometimes it does. But I think if you, for yourself, issued an apology, say, I was an asshole. I did stuff that myself and my current age am upset at my former self for. Not that I can right any wrongs that happened. Not that I can necessarily change what's already happened, because you can't go back and change the past. But to those of anybody who follows or listens that was affected by my behavior, I am sorry. Yeah. And I think once you were able to get that out of you, because, dude, that's holding you back right now. I can feel it just in this conversation. Like, you're not making eye contact with me anymore, which tells me, like,
I'm looking at the Facebook.
Like, that's what is doing it. Like, if you're thinking in the back of your mind, there's something still holding you back from everything that you want. It's that.
I'll go for it.
Now,
I got to now. I have to now.
You have to. I literally called you out. You have a mission to do now. And you can tag me in the video. Go for it. And you know what? I'll match you. I'll do the same thing.
Deal.
You'll see a video from me before end of day on Monday. It'll appear on my social, and it'll be, I'm sorry. For everybody I've wronged, I don't know who it is. It could be dozens of people. It could be only one. To everybody that I have ever wronged with any of my behavior or actions, I am sorry. I'll do it. I'll match you because I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I wouldn't do myself.
Fair enough.
So we have the mission. We're wrapping it up, guys. We got to get going because let's face it, we've had a lot of conversation so far, and I don't want to start circling the drain. And I don't want to continue to repeat. So that being said, a couple last things. Words of wisdom. So some of the tips, the tricks of what you've used to navigate through your own internal darkness. And then we'll have everybody talk about where they can find you. And obviously I'll drop stuff in the links and whatnot. But give the tips and the tricks. What have you done to navigate those dark spaces? Because those dark spaces for me, I work. That's how I never stop moving. That's how I avoid the darkness. But that's me. That's not you.
For me, it's definitely the biggest thing, focusing on myself, not competing with other people. I'm competing with myself every day. So be a better person from focusing on myself and getting into the whole fitness, the whole working out, the running. That's another way to take my mind off things. And that's been benefiting the hell out of me both mentally and physically. So that's one thing. If you're not working out right now, that's something I would totally go tackle. See if you could do a little ab workout every single day, or see if you could just walk, just go for a walk, clear the mind. So definitely focus on yourself and start exercising, or hop into different things like
meditation,
books, yoga, different things that you would think that are you're going to be against them at first because you've never done them before, but that's the best part about it. You're trying new things, figuring yourself out along the way. So
right, figure it out along the way. Get your physical health right, because when you get that, your mind will start changing. That's impactful. Good stuff, man. I would say a tip and a trick that I have is be focused with your intent, right? Do it and be focused because of your why. So you got to figure out what your why is. And once you figure that out, everything does become easier. And be happy, guys. Like, I end every video with the following 3 things. Be happy, have fun, and hustle hard. But if you're not living the first 2, there's no amount of the third that can bring the first 2. So really find that happiness. Find what really allows you to have fun with your life. And don't allow other people to gauge what that is, because it's different. Reduce the word maybe. Take out the word hate. Take that stuff out of your vocabulary right now and watch your life change. If you're talking for a simple stuff, that's a simple solution. It's tough, but it's simple. Getting healthy, focusing, being intentful with your health, so important. All right, Tyler. Not that I'm all about the same shameless self-promotion, but tell the people where they can find you, what they know, what they need to know, what you're up to in the last couple minutes before we wrap on this one.
All right. I'm definitely taking a big change up of what I've been doing on social. I'm just documenting my everyday, just trying to show I'm a person, you're a person. We can benefit from each other just by showing you what I'm doing. I'm going to start tracking me running and just showing progress of me making better 2-mile run times or 1-mile run times. And that maybe will motivate somebody to get up and start working out. But all over social, it's at Tyler Marschall. So pretty much anywhere, Google my name, you'll find me. So
spell your last name for those of people who are not watching it, because it's not spelled the traditional way you would think.
It's not. It's Tyler, and then it's Marschall.
Nice.
All right,
Tyler, I want to say a massive thank you, not only to you, Tyler, but to everybody who tuned in to watch this live. It means the world to me that you guys take out time of your days to watch this. And I do broadcast this twice a week. This video will also be available on YouTube and in audio form by the start of next week. So probably Sunday it'll be available. The preceding 8 episodes that have aired are available on every platform: Facebook, YouTube, the podcast, Anchor podcast, Apple Podcast, all that kind of stuff. Next week I will be back with 2 amazing guests. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an inside scoop on who's in next week. Next week on Tuesday, I've got Summer Silvery is going to be joining me. I'm really excited for that conversation. Check her out on social media. She's got this really cool thing called the Secret Envelope that we're going to be going in and talking more about. And then on Friday of next week, I've got this amazing guy, Scott Barker, is going to be joining me. I'm really pumped for that conversation. I hope you guys can tune in. Stay tuned to the social medias to learn the times for those episodes. I announce those every Monday. So stay tuned, Facebook, Insta, stay tuned there. And I can be found everywhere pretty much at my name. DM me if you guys are anybody watching this or listening now or after the fact. If you are struggling, please reach out. This is how available I am. In Instagram, my phone number is in my profile. Like, you could hit the call button and that calls me directly. Not Carter, not anybody else on the team. That calls me. Now, I'm going to recommend that you text me first just so that I know who you are, because I don't answer phone calls I'm not aware of. But please reach out. Please reach out to anybody. There are many resources if you are struggling with depression, anxiety, alcoholism, eating disorders, any of these areas around mental health. There are people that you can reach out to. Please reach out to them. I personally am reaching out to these guys myself right now because this mission of mine is not stopping. In fact, it's speeding up. So I'm going to all of these organizations myself. Again, not Carter, not anybody else on the team, me. Because I want them to help me spread this message, because this needs to be talked about, and I will not stop talking. You will have to literally take my voice away for me to stop talking about this. So that being said, my friends, be happy, have fun, hustle hard, because again, if you're not living the first 2, the third one is irrelevant. We'll see you later, Instagram. Bye. Ending live video, sharing live video. All right, Facebook. You were a little quiet today. Sylvia, thank you so much for joining. I know you've been watching this whole time, and I, again, massively appreciate it. To everybody else who watches this, I will be paying attention to the comments. So if you have something that you want to put out there, I will be paying attention, and I will respond as I am able. And thank you again. I am so grateful that I get to do this. Like, it means so much that I get to do this and that you guys actually care. So that being said, I'm going to end this broadcast now. So have a great one. Tyler, stick around for a moment.